Find the derivative of y equals the sine of f of x. Then evaluate y prime of negative 2, where f of negative 2 equals pi over 6 and f prime of negative 2 equals negative 6. So y here is the composition of functions, a known function sine of an unknown function f of x. Sine is the outermost function here, and f of x is inside that. We will have to use the chain rule for the derivative. The derivative y prime, or dy dx, will be start with the outermost function, the sine, take its derivative. Derivative of sine is cosine. Leave the inside alone, f of x, and then multiply by the derivative of the inside. We will call that f prime of x to complete the chain rule. So there's our derivative y prime, or dy dx. The next thing to do is evaluate y prime of negative 2, and that will be plugging in a negative 2 and for each of the x's. So cosine of f of negative 2, and then all of that times f prime of negative 2. F of negative 2 and f prime of negative 2, those will be figured out right here. F of negative 2 is a pi over 6, so we will have the cosine of pi over 6, and then multiply that by f prime of negative 2, which is a negative 6. This negative 6 is not inside the trig function, just the pi over 6 is. So what we have is the cosine of pi over 6. Well, that happens to equal to root 3 over 2 times negative 6. You can think of that as negative 6 over 1. We can multiply those fractions. We will have a negative 6 times the root 3. And if you want, you can put it over a 1, but 2 times a 1, which will give us a 2. And then the negative 6 and the 2 can cancel down by a factor of 2. Dividing 2 and 2, negative 6 will give us a negative 3, and then times root 3. So negative 3 root 3.